In this video, I am going to share some of the technology tools that I have used in my classes. But first, I want to share some thoughts on technology. First of all, remember to keep it simple to start. If you are confused, the students will be confused as well. Don't use technology to be cool, only to use it unless it is actually going to help. For example, the doodle poll that I used recently really helped me gather the information I needed and was super simple to use. Second, use it to help and encourage the necessary interactions within your course. For example, learner to content, you could have videos, audio, which would include podcasts, reflection blogs, and discussion boards. For learner to learner, you could use it to set up study groups in Blackboard, for example, or ask the students what type of technology they would like to use to work together. I have had a couple of classes choose Facebook since they were already using it and simply created a landing page where they could all meet and share their ideas. There are other social collaboration tools out there as well. For example, Snapchat has become very popular recently, as well as Pinterest, Twitter, and more. For the learner to instructor interactions, use it to prepare rubrics. Remember to be active in your discussion boards. That does not mean that you have to respond to every single discussion board, except I do for the first one since I want to individually welcome students to the course. But you do have to read the posts and use the information from them so students know that you have read them. For example, create a short video and summarize the key points from the discussion board and students by name who have made these points. You can also use technology to provide feedback. A quick Jing video on an assignment instead of written feedback can not only save you time, but create a really good interaction between you and the student. You can also create weekly videos where you go over what students have done and what they will be doing. You can use a tool like Camtasia, which I've used for a couple of my videos, so that you can record yourself while you are talking. This gives the students the feeling that you are actually a real person because they can see you. Also consider using Blackboard Collaborate Ultra for office hours and/or for one-on-one student meetings. So, as you design your course, remember blooms in the different levels. Here are some tools you can use, and just remember you want to start at the lowest level, which would be remembering, and then work your way up. So at the remembering level, this is where the students are just being exposed to the information. So you could utilize online quizzes, flashcards. There's definitely apps out there for that. A guided reading document, such as an anticipation guide that you have the students complete and submit online prior to reading their texts, and other tools. At the understanding level, you can use blogging, which is a tool that's already in Blackboard where people just put down their ideas. You can have them create a mind or concept map. You can utilize games. I'll give you a link at the end of this video for that. And then also the wikis out there are another good tool you can utilize. At the applying level, for this you could utilize simulations. You could have the students present information during your face-to-face class time, but encourage them to use some type of technology, and challenge the students since they're the ones that are more familiar with the technology than most of us. At the analyzing level, you could have them create the rubrics or use the rubrics that you've already created. Have the students participate in peer-to-peer reviews where they get an opportunity to view what others have done and then also to analyze the information as to whether or not it meets the criteria that have been set forth. For evaluating, you could have the students collaborate and discuss assignments, projects, and then give their feedback on that. At the creating level, you could have them make a video or a podcast or do a presentation to the rest of the class. But just remember that they have to demonstrate the mastery of the assignment at this level. This is the highest level of Bloom's, and that's where they really need to be demonstrating that they have mastered the competencies for that particular assignment. You can also use it for assessments, for example, some formative assessments. Remember, formative is where you're checking for understanding. but they could be multiple choice quizzes, a matching activity, have them do an exit slip or a 1-minute summary like I've had you do to answer a question at the end of a learning plan. And you can also use it for summative assessments, which are the final assessments where students will show their mastery of a competency. So that could be like a completion of an online portfolio. I know people have used like a tool called Weebly for that, and then also even WordPress where they set up in Google Sheets. So that could be a very good use of technology for summative assessments. All right, for this, I'm just going to share some links, and I will share this video with, or my script with you, so you'll have these active links as well. But a really good technology tool that I've used are infographics, and I will share a couple that people have made. Mine are pretty simple, but the link here is to a tool called PictoChart, but I know that there's other ones out there as well. The research has shown that with the use of pictures, people actually remember the information better. So if you can have a picture and a little bit of information, it's a lot easier for people to remember it. So it's you kind of chunking it for them. Socrative is another tool that I've used. And by the way, all of these are free. So that I forgot to announce or let you know that as well. But Socrative can be used on either the PC or the iPad, and I've used it during class. So like if I've had students read something, and at the beginning of class I'll break them into little groups, and I will put up a little Socrative quiz, and they will demonstrate what knowledge that they have from what they've read. It's a tool that forces them into being prepared for class, and it's not good to be in a group if you haven't prepared, and so peer pressure plays into this a little bit. Another one is Jing. Jing is a tool where you can create videos on your desktop, and they have to be 5 minutes or less, but it's super easy to use. It's super easy. You can store them on your computer, or you can just utilize TechSmith's space on the cloud, and it just stores it for you. Another tool is TED-Ed, which is what you are watching this particular video on. And it is, you can either create your own videos, or you can actually utilize videos that are already out on the web, and then create your own TED-Ed lesson from those and have the students respond, like I'm having you respond to a discussion question out there. Another tool that's strictly for the iPad and has come a long ways is a tool called EduCreations. You can't edit it, but it is super easy to use, and I really like it because the presentations are easy, and they're easy to upload and get onto your Blackboard site. What I'm recording this with is a tool called Explain Everything, and it is specifically for the iPad. This one I actually did pay $3 for, so I apologize for saying all were free. But it's well worth it because you can actually edit. Like when I was creating this video or recording for this particular slide, my cell phone rang because I forgot to turn it off. So I was easily able to just start over with the recording on this slide instead of having to go all the way back to the beginning and start re-recording, which I would have had to have done if I was using EduCreations or Jing or some of those other tools. So for that, I really like it. It plays nicely with Dropbox, Google Drive, and all of those other cloud-based storage areas. So I can easily go out there and grab that information and bring it into my education file. So definitely a good one if you have an iPad. I'm also sharing some other resources that you might be interested in. I went into a couple of conferences now and heard this gentleman, Dr. James May, speak. I've given you a link to his website. So he's just got tons of cool things. He's just, if I could be as creative as this gentleman was, I don't know. He's just amazing. I saw him again last spring, and he did a really nice job. One of his was on post-it notes and the things that you could do with post-it notes, for example, which I would have never even thought of. So if you're looking for, some really good helpful hints, I would go out to his site. I've also given you a link here to PowerPoint game templates. I know many of you have done this, have used like Jeopardy. I'm trying to think of some of the other ones during your class time for like review for quizzes. Actually use them at the beginning of class for a formative assessment to see whether or not the students have gotten the information that they need to get. And finally, there is another one called Kahoot. And this could be on the other page, but I haven't used it personally myself. But I've seen it demonstrated a couple of different times. Super easy to do. You can, I think they actually used Kahoot at a college day. So very easy to use. I would recommend going out there and checking that out as well. But the one final note, it's like don't try to use all of these tools right away if this is your first time being exposed to technology. Choose one of them and think about, by choosing this, how will it help me deliver the content or assess my students? Don't just pick it because it looks cool or has a great name. Pick it purposely and design it into the use of your course. Anyway, have a great week and hope this helps.